Hi, hello. Welcome to Dear PB, a podcast where we hopefully help you become a better speedrunner, but probably won't. I'm Corva Mabe. You can call me May, or she, or her.
I'm Swoos. You can call me SWC, or he, or they.
And joining us from Castle Dracula, I think, it's TheBlacktastic.
Hello. Also he and him.
That's where Castlevania takes place, right? Isn't it Dracula's castle?
This one, yeah.
Yeah, I think they.
Nice.
I wasn't sure if it was technically a different castle that Dracula was in, or if Dracula did in fact own the castle.
Yeah, you're actually
kind of moved in, you know.
Yeah, Dracula's actually the doctor. It's actually Dracula's monster.
I was going to say Dracula's renting because in this economy. But yeah, we have Bobby here to answer your questions as we ought to do. If you could let the people know what you're all about. Oh, you can start the run. That's probably something we should do first.
Oh yeah. That'd be pretty fantastic.
I forgot that was part of it.
Well, that's okay. Hi, my name is Bobby. Y'all may know me as TheBlacktastic, but I am also known as Bobby. And yeah, we're here to talk shop today. I'm also here to display a little bit of Castlevania Circle of the Moon. I am a speedrunner. I've been in the speedrunning community since around 2014, 2015. So, a pretty fair while right about now. I've been through a whole bunch of communities, played a whole bunch of speed games, and yeah, I guess we're supposed to be here to talk about that. So.
Should timer be running?
Yeah.
Oops. Sorry. Okay. Let's pretend.
Totally fine. You got a head start.
Can we, I
can
roll again.
All right.
I can roll again. Okay. Sorry.
I was like, after you hit, you put the name in, I was like, is it going to be a confirm? Oh, I think that was it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So 3, 2, 1, and go.
There we go. First try.
Perfect. Yeah, that was fine.
We can't. There's no way to edit this out in post, so it's just gonna be part of it now. We just simply. This is live.
That's fine. All right. So instead of introducing yourself again, how did you get into speedrunning?
I got into speedrunning. So and before this community, I was actually part of another competitive community, fighting game community rather. And a lot of us had personal in-house sessions. People would come over, mash buttons in fighting games, and a lot of people would actually show up. And then when the day would be done and all that stuff, numbers would be dwindling. The handful of us left over just kind of browse and see what's on. I think it was Justin TV at the time. It wasn't even Twitch back then. So we had people on Justin TV doing their thing, speed running, Mario, Zelda, Mega Man, and all that stuff. And it just kind of got me to thinking, because I was literally raised on video games. If I did well in school, okay, got a new video game. It was pretty dope. So I got really used to a lot of the platformers, a lot of popular games on the Super Nintendo back then. So I was like, okay, well, why don't I just start to learn a couple speed runs myself. I was pretty accustomed to what's on Speed Demo's archive, and then I've had a bunch of people to look up to with their 20-minute times in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is also one of my favorite games. And then I just decided to try to stream it, try to do the whole speedrun thing myself, because I really wanted to stream fighting games, but all I had was a pretty crappy laptop, integrated graphics, really middling internet connection, so I didn't really have the bandwidth literally to stream that. So I thought retro games, picking up speed runs would be a pretty cool thing, and turns out it was. I started not even learning or doing full speed runs, but learning the that's the wrong spell right there, but learning just simple tricks in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, just how to shield dash, how to do movement, how to perform glitches and all that. And actually people of the of that speedrunning community, of that game, just literally started showing up, providing tips, being really welcoming, really open, oh, there's a tutorial going on. It's kind of a bit of an inverse to what I've experienced in the fighting game community, where a lot of people will kind of turn an eye to a new member. You kind of have to prove yourself before anything else in something like that. But with speedrunning community, it was just yo, dude, like we would love to have you. We got a tutorial, you know, come get a time up on a leaderboard. Like it was like a really refreshing experience, honestly. So yeah, right around then found the first community to you know, start mashing buttons in a whole different type of way.
I never understood why you would be like, when people would be trying out, why you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna gatekeep you and not have you join, because like,
Because you're competition.
Then
People
you just
don't want
said,
more competition.
I suppose, but especially like fighting games community, where like if more people are doing it, then you get more money
True.
for being good.
But then the people that are joining might also be better than you, and thus prevent you from making money. So like,
Just simply be good.
exactly. Like
Yeah,
people
and,
have.
and then like that's also not to discount like the positive experiences that I've had in like the fighting game community, because like I'm still really cool with like a whole bunch of people and they're still homies. But like, you know, like I had to like kind of like climb up, like be good at a fight, you know, kind of like prove myself to be good at a fighting game before like establishing like, you know, most connections with most people there. But yeah, it just felt like, you know, like really different, like just starting out, you know, like like even though I was a nobody, like people still accepted me for, you know, just liking their game and wanting to be part of their, you know, community.
It just does make sense, like on a very intrinsic level, with something more collaborative, you're gonna get people be like at a baseline cooler about it.
Right. As someone who's been in both fighting game and speedrunning communities, usually end up thinking of it as fighting games are player versus player, and speedrunning is players versus game. So in speedrunning, everyone wants to break the game and make the game go as fast as possible. It typically doesn't matter who does it as long as it's done. I mean, some people are obviously going to be gatekeepy about having their own records and stuff, but a lot of people are just like, wow, this is really cool that someone can do this.
Especially for like the, I'm sorry to cut you off, but especially for like the games with very small and niche communities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, like I especially know for like indie games, like we want more exposure for this game, and indie game developers want more exposure to their game.
Right.
So yeah, it'll definitely be like more of a collaborative effort to, you know,
and the way
do stuff like that.
An easy way to get a lot of exposure is to patch out the speedrunning glitches that have speedrunners get mad at you on Twitter, because then everyone's talking about your game, baby.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't lose.
No press is negative press.
Exactly. Wait, I think it's all press is good press, not no press is negative press.
Same thing.
No,
it's the same thing, but the inverse.
It's different, because it's like, never mind. I don't want to litigate this.
It's like the whole no news is good news. It's like, are you talking about like the lack of news, or are you saying that any news is good? Like, yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah, pretty much.
I wish it was this easy to get levels in Pokemon.
Oh yeah, just go like straight to the end of the game and just like, you know, beat a trainer real quick and just like super level up everything.
Yeah. With
so
a
anyways,
giant...
we're at level 100 now.
27.
And now we could beat the game.
A lot happened really fast.
Yeah, so one of my favorite things about like Metroidvania, like modern Castlevania speedruns, is that it's just riddled with things like this. Like in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you can like glitch to the end of the game, you can keep all your equipment. In this, you can definitely beat the game in less than 5 minutes using this method.
I do like that this is apparently a modern Castlevania, given that this game is like, what, 21 years old now?
Yeah, I just try to like you know, separate the two styles. Like, you know, original Castlevania was definitely like kind of like more classic stage by stage. One might even say like arcadey in that sense.
Yeah,
especially when it's like brutal difficulty.
Having like, this was the first one I played, and then going back and playing like the old ones, it's I just couldn't get into it, because like this, I feel like these ones feel a lot better.
I mean, they're more Metroidvania-y, I guess.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I can go back and play the original Metroid. That does work for me, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, I get where you're coming from. Like, the original Metroid is in the style of a Metroid game. The original Castlevanias...
Whoa, what?
Yeah, I know, crazy. The original Castlevanias are, compared to things like Soten and this, they're not as much Castlevania games. I mean, it just depends on what you want from one.
Yeah, not only do you get like the wonder of like exploring, but like Castlevania games especially have that sort of like RPG element to it.
Yeah.
You know, like as long as you keep destroying enemies at a night, you'll get stronger innately, like the longer you go, you know? So you'll eventually kind of get over that difficulty hump. Meanwhile, in classic Castlevania, if you don't die, you can retain the 8 hearts that you need for this holy water that you get at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
I mean, like Castlevania, like the original Castlevanias are just like it's Ninja Gaiden, but you're in a different place. Like they're the very similar styles of games. And if that's what you like, then absolutely go for it.
Here's a hot take for this genre's pretty good, and they should make more games like it.
Wow.
I think that like the beta for Crowswarm is different. I think just came out, and apparently it's like quite good. That's exciting. People were talking about that in a Discord I'm in, and it's about birds. It's like the ultimate game. I should play Dead Cells again. That's what I'm learning from this.
Oh, Dead Cells is, yeah. Dead Cells scratches an itch.
It's so good.
And you get so much like good DLC along with it.
I know, and I'm so bad at it. I have to like expects me to use a shield, a concept that I truly just will never understand in my life. I play like ranged characters and everything. I don't want to get close enough to use a shield.
Why shield when you can just hit everything?
Exactly. Just frame perfect parry everything and you're fine.
True.
Like it's like Pokemon. I'm not going to teach my Pokemon like status moves. What am I, a nerd?
Really? Why waste a turn doing Swords Dance when you can just use another move?
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Literally, I still play. Like honestly, I still play. Despite like no matter how much I speedrun something, I still end up playing casually the way I played as a kid.
I mean, there's still like that sense of wonder from it because it's like you're bringing yourself back to a time where you did, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure like a lot of people who like speedrun a lot of like, you know, games with exploration and all that stuff like do tend to like put other like restrictions or stipulations on themselves when they play casually. So it's like it's still like a different, you know, that's how you get all these streamed Kaizo challenges that we're doing now, you know.
Yeah, challenge runs are kind of born out of not boredom, but like repetition, I guess. It's like, hey, I've done this so many times. Let's do something different for a change.
Take the Dear PB challenge and then send us the VOD. And the Dear PB challenge is you have to play your game the exact same way that you played it when you were 4.
Oh boy, can't wait to play Hat in Time like I did in 2002.
Okay, a game that came out. A game that. Well, now I feel old.
Yeah.
Thank you. And also, what's another aspect of this? You have to also answer questions during it. That's what makes the Dear PB challenge.
Come up with your own questions and then submit it to us.
Yeah, or you have to answer the questions that we've talked about on this show.
Ooh, there's a lot of them.
There's quite a few. And for example,
exactly.
See that's called
good
that's
segue.
Called show running right
Excellent
there.
segue.
Dear PB, I'm finally making the jump from speedrunning spectator to actual speedrunner. My problem is that I have a long list of games I'm potentially interested in running, and I'm not sure how to choose what to focus on. Do you have any suggestions for how to pick baby's first speed game? In particular, would you suggest prioritizing a game with an established community over one that I might be more personally interested in running but has a very minor community, if any at all? From Natada.
So I was...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no.
No, you talk.
No, I'll go.
Okay, Seuss, you go.
I don't have anything on this
the
yet.
way that I got into the you know, I was gonna say fighting community again, the speedrunning community was that I kind of picked like the realm of something like pretty familiar. Like one of my favorite, you know, retro games was in fact like a really popular game, so I kind of had like no problem with that. It does really suck about the choice paralysis because there's a lot of good games out there with you know, a lot of great communities and all that stuff. So I definitely feel you there. But I feel if you're just trying to get your feet wet in speedrunning, choosing an established community with a, you know, like kind of like a popular game would probably bode a little bit more well for like getting wrapped around like the fundamentals of like learning and grinding a speed game with a community. Because like you'll probably have like more established guides out there. You'll probably have like, if you're playing on PC, like like a trainer or like a load, remover or something that would be like, a bit more beneficial, especially since there's like emulators with multiple save states so that you can practice segments, even more like in quick succession. Like, and if you want to like go off into like, like an indie game or like an obscure game, like that's completely fine. But I feel like you'd be, especially when like it's a game that's like not really that well known or not really that well routed, you might try to beat your head against the wall a little bit with like trying to optimize something, trying to route something out without even like trying to understand like the fundamentals of learning and grinding and and all these other what if scenarios. So I mean that's my take.
Yeah, I would say like it's sort of like I would say definitely don't pick something that no one's done for your first game, because that's just it's already like it can already be daunting to get into in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you also have to root an entire thing before you can even do runs, that's going to make it a bigger hurdle. So I wouldn't recommend that. But I don't think you need, or I guess beyond that, it kind of depends on how much you want to talk to human beings. If you don't want to talk if you don't want to talk to people, paradoxically, you should pick a larger community, because they'll have resources that you can just watch or read.
Mm-hmm.
Versus a smaller one, you're going to have to talk to people. And like that's fine. Like the first game that I ever ran was like at the time that I ran it had like, including myself, there were like 8 or 9 people on the leaderboards. It was a really small community, and that was cool. And now I do Pokemon, which is huge. So it's like, and then
information is being shared at like a mile a minute, especially with something like Pokemon.
Yeah. And then Hat in Time is somewhere in the middle. I called it Hat in the Middle at first. My favorite
Hat in the middle.
My favorite TV show. So yeah, I think it's pretty much, do you want to have to talk to people is kind of it. And don't pick something that don't pick something that you have to root entirely for your first game.
Mm.
Unless you really want to route something, then you can. But if you don't know if you want to, don't do that first.
Yeah, that's kind of my whole take of it as well. Just the whole availability of resources. You're obviously going to have more resources for a more established game. And if you're running something that 2 people have run, a lot of the knowledge is going to be contained in the people's heads as opposed to a document. Usually, not all the time, but oftentimes. So you can be the person who starts off a new community, but I feel like as a very first one, it's just so much easier to hit the ground running faster. With more.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's just easier to get started with a faster track to doing a run.
I want to piggyback off like what you're saying, because like also your background, you said you were like like Team FGC at one point as well. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people will come into like an obscure game or obscure community for the sake of like like people like labbing stuff out. Like, that's why we have like a lot of diligent taskers, data miners, and what have yous out there that don't really like perform the execution with their hands themselves, but like theorize a lot of what ifs, and like that is in and of itself is a great boon to a community. So you could be that person, you could be that person that contributes to like a big boom because all this information would be readily available.
Yeah, that's something that I wish and I don't know how necessarily to do this, but I think that'd be a cool thing to like demonstrate more at large marathons and stuff. It's just showing like some of the more like things that go into like routing and glitch hunting and things like that. Like we have like task block, but even that's just kind of like an exhibition more than like an actual like, hey, here's kind of the like, we're gonna show you a little bit of how it works. Does this look interesting to you? Because like every run you watch, and at the end people are like, hey, if this looked interesting to you, you should check this out. But
you can't just show like the Ocarina of Time task and be like, hey, if you want to do this, good luck, because you're not going to understand how to do it. But if it looks cool, that's cool.
I wish there's more demonstrations of like, hey, here's like other things in the community that are valuable and like is a thing you can do. Because like people don't know, like when BDSP came out, we got a million different glitch hunters in the server, because like that was the place where it was happening, and it was just pretty much through word of mouth, people learned that that's what people were talking about it. And like you wouldn't know that from like watching a speedrun marathon.
Yeah, so there was a marathon that I used to be staff on that had a community segment, and I had the idea. I never really got realized, but I had the idea to have, say, 4 people or so, and give them the tools to task a game, say like Super Mario Bros, because that's very short, and give them an hour to see how fast they could get their task to be.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So that's a kind of introduction to how tasking works, especially for something like the NES. BizHawk has Task Studio, which is basically just a spreadsheet of what buttons are input on what frames. It's extremely easy to use, and just with the knowledge of the game, just go for it and see what you can do.
Yeah, because I think with the right commentary, you can showcase anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you like the amount of times that like people are like, oh yeah, you should check out this run, it was really good, and it's like a run that's like 40-50% cutscenes, but it's just people were really entertaining during it. Like I don't think it'd be like a bad thing to like people like, oh, this is so boring, or this is like impossible to follow, or you get people with questions, but like that's kind of the whole point. So
yeah,
yeah, if you're listening to this and you run a marathon, then you should do that. And if
That-
I'm
that is
listening
a
to this
cool
and
idea.
I run a marathon, I should do that.
You should. Yeah, tasking has been an interest of mine for a while, and I really haven't done much with it, but it's always very cool to see what can be done with video games. As an example, the Ocarina of Time beta showcase that was at the last GDQ. Kind of cool.
I definitely watched that.
If you haven't, you should.
Yeah, like not only did it display like, you know, a lot of like glitchy stuff, but there were magical moments to be had. Especially at the
Arbitrary
end.
code execution is magic. You cannot convince me otherwise.
I like weirdly I'm not like personally that into tasks. I think because I'm like I know how computers work, and I'm like I don't like thinking about how computers work. It's upsetting. Like it is cool, but I'm always just like, it's like program is what I do for my job.
Yeah, but what if you can watch other people's programming?
I mean, that's what I have to do for my job sometimes. It's like at like conferences, and I don't like that either.
But this time it looks cool.
That is true. Nope, hate to tasks. It's just not my thing.
Right. Yeah, showcase different aspects
else
of your community.
Yeah. That we got like super far off the original question, which was like how else to pick a game. In terms of like actually picking the game itself beyond the community, I think that's important too. You should pick a game that you like enough to play it over and over again, but won't hate after you play it over and over again.
Yep.
And those are not necessarily. It's not. Some people be like, "Oh, well, any game that you speedrun eventually will grow to hate it." Haha, that's not actually true.
And it's also like, a lot of people are like, task the game you or play the game you played the most as a kid, but like at the same time, don't ruin that game for you if that's something you might do.
Also, it's not necessarily a good speed game.
Yeah.
Or a good first speed game. There are a lot of speed games that are good speed games, but terrible first speed games.
I made that mistake.
I also did that mistake. The first game I ever ran was the hardest one I've ever run.
I tried to run 1,000 Year Door as one of my first, and that
Great
was
game.
not happening. I still probably can't run it. It's ridiculously hard.
Oh, yeah. Wind Waker's another one that's like, if it was your favorite game as a kid, it's a really hard run, and especially physically to do.
It's not a hard run if you're in like the year 2007. Today it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always do easier categories. Yeah.
Or
That's
make up
another
your
thing.
own. I'd say make up your own.
That too.
True. I love making up my own categories. That's
No
another
major
thing, yeah.
glitches except some of them.
If you want to run your game and all the categories suck, or like, you like maybe you're like, oh, I want to run this game, but I don't want to commit to it. Make up a category. People did that with Legends Arceus. They made a category where it's just doing the early game.
Yeah.
You beat the first Frenzied Lord, and then that's the run. I would not do it.
Early game categories are so great. Would be like, and it's a good like first like dip your toes, like especially for like longer RPG game speedruns. Like like I would say like Earthbound. Earthbound has like a reach threed or beat the boss in threed category, which like kind of like gets your lets you hit the ground running on a lot of there's like bits of like menu lag, a lot of like boss techniques, just like general movement in general. Like if you can condense that into like an hour, maybe like an hour like 10, and if you like the the speed run, then you can definitely dive fully more into it.
Yeah.
Like PLA, we have Beat Cleaver, and like I wouldn't do it because I think the beginning of PLA is not the enjoyable part of it, but it's good that it's there. This has been a lot of me being like, that's not for me, but it's cool that it exists.
It is cool, but I hate it.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't hate it. It's just it's like an hour and change, but then like the first 20 minutes are my second least favorite part of that game. So I'm like, well, I don't want to grind that more.
Right.
It's a lot of mashing.
Yeah, and I mean, on the same vein of making your own category, if there's like one glitch you don't want to do or can't do, and your other option is doing everything glitchless, just do that part glitchless and do everything else how you want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, there are some games like Thousand Year Door that it's very hard to do that, but technically possible.
Leaderboards and their consequences have been a disaster for the human race. That is my firm opinion.
Mm.
As somebody who still does submit to leaderboards,
Yeah.
Listen, it's not about that.
Speedrunning. Ooh.
That's also a thing when like picking up like your first speed run, is like setting that bit of an expectation for yourself is kind of like setting yourself up to fail, especially if like you don't even know if you're going to be sticking with your main or your first speed game in like the long run, if something else would like tantalize you. But like, it's okay to not have a top 10, top 20, top 50 time, especially for a very popular game that you might want to speed run.
That's another thing. Nope, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's another thing that that watching GDQ way back when, like, secretly did me kind of dirty, is watching it and then being like, oh well, I guess if you're speedrunning, you're going for world record, and then that's it. Not understanding that, like, honestly, I would say, like, I'm not gonna say most, but it might even be most people just go for PBs and don't really care. You do it for you and for like the community. And like, I did not know that, and so I didn't get into it for quite a while because I was like, I don't think I have the patience to world record grind.
Yeah. Some games are a lot harder to get top times than others.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like if you were starting speedrunning and be like, all right, next week I'm going to get world record in Super Mario 64, you have very unreasonable expectations.
Yeah, good luck. Like,
unless you make your own category that no one's ever done before, then you can. But yeah. People play games for thousands of hours and still don't have like top times. It's very hard sometimes.
And it's that's why so many marathons are kind of moving away from, hey, we want your time to be super, super good, and in fact encourage everybody to submit regardless of how good your time is.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's like I don't know what's the right phrase. Wait, we've talked about this before, but like, clear that you have like put in the effort, I guess.
As long as you're like competent enough at the game.
Yeah,
you didn't just start running the game like
as long
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, as long as you're able to like reliably put on a good show.
Yeah.
Or represent the game well. That's the phrase that
right.
I use. I don't remember this part of this game. I do remember the clock tower.
Oh yeah, the remixes in this game are like super ace. I actually heard like a lot of these Castlevania like Bloodlines. Well, that was 4, but like also Castlevania Bloodlines arrangements like way before I even played the game. It wasn't even like the main composer that like did the music for this either. So like he kind of like faithfully, did it justice. I feel
good. It's almost like I didn't know you could use the cards before you knew what they were.
Oh yeah, so this is like the main bread and butter of like every glitch But yeah, as long as you have an action card and an attribute card, you're able to, well, do what's called a DSS glitch. So like, I'll just do this right here. We're activating it, and then we can go to any sort of like card, highlight any sort of combination of cards that we want, and we have instant access to them.
Oh, that explains why I didn't know you could do that as a kid, because you're not supposed to be able to. Aha!
Ah.
That'll do it. I was gonna say, I was like, I feel like I would have at some point stumbled into that. Huh.
I think there was like some sort of like I think they labeled it as like a cheat code like back then. I used to always like look up like cheat codes and like different cool ways to do things and all that. So I actually kind of knew about that before, like looking up the speed run, but like I never realized it would be used to this capacity.
Yeah. But every time it's like, oh, it's more than just a novelty. It actually like has a use. Whoa. How many horses are in this game?
How many horses are in this game?
What's the scale? What's the scale?
With 1 being 1 horse and 10 being 10 horses.
I mean, I'm sure there are horses like strewn about. You don't fight any of the horses because, well, triple bone. You don't fight any of the horses because, I mean, horses are obviously good. But I think one is represented as a card, and there's like a small enemy somewhere.
Is there anything where one enemy mounts another enemy?
I was gonna say, we all use
that's
some
considered a
context.
horse. Yeah.
No, what do I do?
This is deep.
Hold on,
this
wait.
This is deep podcast lore.
Oh God, I was like 1 frame away from dying.
Amazing.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're fine. You're fine.
You're good?
Magic
You're
pixel.
good?
We can probably look up in the bestiary for you. But I do believe that there are a non-zero amount of horses.
All right.
Perfect.
On a scale from 0 to 10, it's non-zero.
At least
Perfect.
Let me go look through our question list.
No, that's reset. This guy will reset here. This is a PB. Or a PB attempt.
A dear PB attempt. Heyo. Ha-ha.
Hey, we're here for a bit.
I'm fully having trouble finding what I'm looking for here. Please hold. What is the proper etiquette for building off of other people's roots and notes? That's the whole thing. There were 2 questions there, and I started reading the second one. That's the whole question.
Okay. The proper etiquettes. I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
For building off of other people's roots and notes.
Don't disparage them.
Yeah.
Don't be like, these notes suck.
These notes suck.
Don't say that.
Yeah,
I have said that to people that I'm friends with.
That's fair.
Yeah, but especially if you're like, not familiar, especially with the people that like have written the notes. I mean, being open to collaboration is like, I mean, not only just on you, but on the person that wrote the notes as well. So like, a lot of like openness with sharing strats, comparing notes, and like, like I feel like a large discussion would probably, would be had. If you timed everything out yourself, I mean, yeah, but don't like, clearly state that it's better and without like any sort of like hard evidence, I would say. But
I love
I think the
vibes-based
safest
rooting.
way would what?
I love vibes-based rooting.
This doesn't feel right.
I'm like, you know what? This is faster. And then people go, it definitely isn't. And I go, but it feels faster. Have you considered?
Have you timed it? Yes, it's slower, but,
Yes, but
it feels faster.
And really, that's what really matters here.
Yeah. A good thing to do with documentation as a whole is just if you don't feel like the notes are granular enough and you need them to be more detailed, just make them more detailed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess there's that as well, where it's like not only the knowledge needs to be there, but the formatting, like the easy to digest, especially for like the intermediate to basic to intermediate readers, because they're speedrunners of like every level and age and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So like making it as like as concise as possible is definitely something to be brought up if someone's notes are initially sloppy.
Yeah, and like
Yep.
whenever you put any sort of resources out there, it's open source now.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just the way it be, and so, yeah, take them, change them. Just don't like claim credit for stuff you didn't do.
Yeah,
That's the
I think
main
I
thing.
think that's a big thing. Yeah, always like properly the credit like the sources, especially for people who have lad things out, that people who have like tasks. Like I try to say, like, especially during like my speedrun performances and like marathons and all that stuff, like even though it's just me like behind the controller, there are a whole bunch more people behind the scenes that deal with a whole bunch of like the routing, tasking, comparing notes and all that. Like I feel being as open and as gracious to your community that you represent is also 100% key.
How is the skeleton balanced? Sorry, not to.
No, we can go into this a
To
little
talk
bit.
about the game.
So
Dear
when we
PB,
go
how is
when
the
we
skeleton
go
balanced?
bone mode, we want a big bone attack, and
Yeah.
the chances of a big bone coming out are 1 in 8, 12.5%.
That's
So
pretty,
it might
that's
take
pretty good.
sometimes. Sometimes it's I mean, like, every bits of RNG are pretty bad,
Sure,
so
yeah. But more than I would have thought for how powerful it is.
it is incredibly powerful. Like it's one of the strongest attacks that you can do for your amount of mana, which is basically free.
Oh, it costs mana.
Well,
Yeah,
it costs
barely
mana to be in
any.
that skeleton mode, and
Oh, yeah.
the other drawback is if you get hit, it's a one-hit KO.
Okay. So as long as you're positioned correctly, since the bone is so large.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can
Makes
even
sense.
like a double stack with a bone hit, like we'll probably maybe do to Dracula here. And yeah, this is warping into the final level of the area is how you can take him on like this and gain so many levels.
Does
But
he
yeah.
not even realize you're there?
Nope, because we went in. Oh, double one. See, yeah, because we went in like with not through that door or not through regular means. He's just there. He's just
Hey,
there.
man.
Chilling.
He's just like, hey, please stop. Oh no, I've died.
And I'm dead.
Oh no.
And you got 30 levels.
It's only 27.
Okay.
I remembered
it's
that
close
from
to
earlier.
30.
Yeah, like 23 or so levels you gain from this fight alone.
Yeah.
I do like that it has to do each one individually.
Oh, we're here for a while. I like to play
It's like
music.
Pokemon.
No,
check my
Pokemon, they
phone.
changed that.
Oh.
Modern Pokemon is just like, when you get more than one level, it just does the last one. Hi, this is post-production May, the May that gets added in after the fact. Did you know we have a Patreon? If you're already a Patreon subscriber, this message isn't for you. Thank you, we love you, you can tune out for this part. But if you're not, for only $3 a month, you can get access to episodes early and get a bonus episode at least once per month. The bonus episodes are like different from the regular episodes. They're a lot more unhinged, which is kind of saying something. You get access to all the ones we've already done, even if you subscribe now, so that's cool. We don't want to have to run ads during this program, because ads suck, and supporting us via the Patreon helps us not have to do that. You can check it out at patreon.com/dearpbpod if you're interested and can afford to do so. You're already supporting us by listening to the show and telling others about it, so this is kind of like a bonus thing you could do if you really like it. Okay, cool, I'm done, bye. Yeah, it's good. I think the last one that was slow about it was Let's Go. They changed it in Gen 8.
Oh, nice.
Or at the very least in Sword and Shield. I'm not going to say that I pretend to know things about BDSP, because I don't. I know I commentated it at GDQ, but I don't know anything about it.
That's fair.
There are parts during that commentary where I was like, I don't know what they do anymore. I've never run this route. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how was that? Trying
fine.
to convey information and all that, like, during such a heated run like that.
I mean, so much of it's the same between games, because like franchise stuff that it's like, okay, I could explain math, which I did. But then like the specific, like, I don't know what they're gonna do on this fight because the route that I ran was different. So I'm just gonna nod and pretend I knew what was going to happen, and no one's gonna notice. Fake it till I make it. That's my official commentary advice. If you're ever not sure about your commentary, just pretend you know what you're talking about. I've lied on commentary before on accident. I've just said stuff that wasn't true. And then people were like, "What? No, that's not the case." And I went, "Really? Huh?
Okay, and
I definitely was told it was. I did not know I was lying. I was not trying to gaslight the audience. I just received bad information. Turns out that in Let's Go, we've been lying to people for years because we just didn't know the mechanics and assumed something wrong.
Nice.
So something that, like, in theory, we could have like tested and maybe found out. No, actually, we couldn't have. There was actually no way without that I think about it, without like data mining. So it's important to have people who do that, like we said before, because otherwise you would never know. People are like talking about big changes to how they do things because now we just have information.
Yeah. Yeah, like definitely the more eyes on your game, like trying to do the same thing that you do, but a little bit different is a lot better.
Yeah.
So yeah, those more established those more established communities well probably would have already done that, so you don't have to, if you were just starting out to speed run, or if you're wanting to like improve on, notation for notes or guides or anything like that. Like the dirty work had already been like, kind of done, but you're still, providing a really great contribution for, providing new strats or the data mining or spiffing things up. Like every small step forward is a step forward for your speedrunning community.
All right, everyone, what community that you're part of has the best resources?
Oh, for me?
Round table, go around. Everyone say what community they're part of that has the best resources.
The Hat in Time one because I made them.
Oh, whoa! You could go watch a speedrun is a thing you can do by Swoos on YouTube.
What if you were a person that wanted to speedrun a game but didn't have the resources to do it? Well,
The
here
road
are
to
the resources.
GDQ. The first step begins now. And actually, it's on Wednesdays.
I would probably say maybe Classic Castlevania has probably got it on lock, or I'll just say Castlevania on a whole has got a lot of it on lock. There's like an entire wiki that's like dedicated to the classic Vanias, and especially if you're new to speed running, like not only do they have like the optimal strats, but they have like provided a whole bunch of beginner, intermediate strats. I think is like, because like the more options the better for how comfortable a person feels like taking on their speed run. So not only do they have that, but they they have guides on SRC as well that probably just point to the wiki anyway. So and a lot of people are just like, in a lot of their varied games across the Castlevania series are just like extremely diligent in the notation formatting and like providing as much information to a newcomer as possible. So that's my vote.
And I saw the hat guides also have like the beginner ones and then the advanced ones, and then everything's sorted by how hard they are.
Yeah,
which is good.
So basically, we have a Google Doc, and it breaks down each level. Every level has its own individual guide for multiple strats. So there might be a beginner strat, intermediate, advanced, and there might be like some alternates that you can do. So that's really helpful.
Some of the guides are extremely old now at this point too, but like
they really are.
They just haven't changed. There's one where
right now I'm working on an advanced all-in-one guide, but I need to actually start producing it.
One of the beginner guides grabs a relic, which you don't need for any percent, but then like people just grab the relic because they don't know. Like he just grabs it in the guide because he was just like sitting there bored. And so like I know I was doing it for a while. I was like, oh yeah, we must need this. We don't.
Yeah, no. There is a route where you use relics, but the basic beginner route does not. It doesn't need to anymore.
Oh yeah, because they have the new CTR skip.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of strats for the game, and it's.
Wait, you skip Crash Team Racing in a whole video game?
Yeah. There's a level.
The crossover we knew we needed.
Yeah.
Hey, we were talking about ACE into like other games with task bots. So.
True.
I mean, my first PB where I missed where I choked CTR, my SRC submission comment was just like the ad copy for Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, so CTR is level in Hat in Time, which is very notoriously difficult for new runners because it's only movement execution. Like, there's really nothing else to it. But a newer strat was found earlier this year, or late last year, that it is slower than doing it normally, but it lets you like skip the ending sequence where you lose the race. Yeah, it basically just like freezes your hidden timer where you and then you can just get the timepiece freely. So it's nice.
The reason why it's hard is because you're not supposed to be able to do it.
Yeah.
The game, when you try to load the level, the game's like, you can't win this, and then you have to be like, no, I definitely can. Please let me proceed.
Yeah, it's like you're missing a key item. It's like, no,
I'm good. Skill issue, actually.
Yeah. An old route for the game used to get that prompt in Finale as well, because you never used to get Ice Hat.
Oh, that's wild to think about now.
That was pre-lag, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyways,
I thought you still got Ice Hat for Mafia Quick Kill.
The beginner's route did not. No, wait. This is modding patch, so the old Quick Kill still existed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Welcome to Dear Review Podcast. Oh, actually, that's not even a new bit. Welcome to Dear Review Podcast. We talk about Hat in Time. Yeah.
Now we're reminiscing of. Well, you never ran modding patch, but
I never ran. I didn't play the game back then.
I'm reminiscing.
I played it casually back then. I didn't know that a speed run was a thing that I could do because I hadn't watched the YouTube video.
True. I did not make one for modding patch, and I never will because no one plays that.
Is this the same giant rat as before?
That is Cerberus.
Oh.
Cerberus the giant rat.
Will you?
Cerberus is actually a capybara.
Honestly, big Capybappy energy. What? The other day was Capybara Appreciation Day, wasn't it? It's like 2 days ago.
I don't know. I don't keep up with my rodent appreciation days.
What?
Whoa. I know. I need to.
Capybara. I wrote Capyberry Appreciation.
Capyberry.
July 10th.
Capyberry to you too.
July 10th is Capyberry Appreciation Day. Capybara. Nice. Oh my god.
Capyberry.
I'm losing my mind. Capybappy.
Capyberry is what you eat in Super Mario Odyssey.
Whoa. Oh man. This show's dumb.
Hey.
Someone's a little cap happy.
We are fostering good communication about when Capybara Appreciation Day is.
That's true. If you're if you're listening to this after we've recorded this, but like not a full year later, go back in time and appreciate the capybara. Sorry that we weren't able to get the word out earlier. I didn't know until it happened.
Yeah.
That's on me. My bad.
Wow. It happens.
Wait, what happened? Is that an intentional save and quit?
No. I went out of bounds. I was laughing too hard.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, 3, 2, 1, go with that.
Oh, the timer's just running.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is my first time here, but I'm having a good time.
If you enjoy speedrunners getting distracted by irrelevant topics, you should check out our Hotfix show.
Coming soon at 23rd of July. You can watch more than one runner at the same time flub things because we're yelling nonsense into their ears. Wow. Although I don't know if I'll be able to top Capyberry Appreciation Day in terms of just the sheer amount of distraction of chaotic energy of it.
New question: what rodent is appreciated on July 10th?
All right, write that down. Legitimately add that to the.
I'm not adding this.
Add it.
Fine.
Or July 10th is what rodent Appreciation Day.
Okay, on it.
Or what? No, actually, yours is better. Your formatting was better.
See, if you're a potential guest on our show and watch or listen to the podcast, you'll have a head up. You'll have a leg up on your opponent.
That's my
So-
favorite.
bonus
That's my favorite
points.
tutorial
Yeah.
series. If you're a potential guest in our show and have a leg up, you could speedrun this. We need a Dear PB guest who like learned from your videos. Well, if you've already had one, I don't actually know if we have.
I don't know. I'm sure
either.
with the amount of people that have watched the Celeste video, someone has.
But the run that they're doing.
Oh. Well, I've
The
only
problem is
made
that-
so many.
The problem is that we've already had all those shows on, or those games on
all
the show
right.
already. I
So
think
we've had Celeste. We have not had Portal yet. That's very
that's true.
short.
We could have Portal.
Portal's really short though.
Just have
and
Portal,
then-
Portal 2, and then Portal sounds like a terrible one to do while we're distracting you. Oh my, no!
Okay, I've run Portal while drunk, and it was not a fun time.
That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, so I could see that being pretty rough.
I used to play Dota while after drinking, and that was an experience. The point at which I would like, there's definitely a point where I'd be like, I don't want to play this anymore. There have been multiple times where I just left. And then my friends were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm sleepy. I think that's the thing with other esports that makes fighting games the best ones to play while drinking is they're short.
Yeah.
Like a game like a MOBA's like 15 minutes, but like like 4 stocks of Smash is like 5.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you want to get like a little like I don't know, like an ARAM done, but like
Yeah,
it must be like the fighting games that I play because like I like a lot of high damage.
Right.
You know, you blink at round start, you lose. Like,
sure, I mean that's even better for
Oops,
drinking.
all infinites.
I will say I do think that Smash is probably the best drinking fighting game because the funniest stuff happens when people have been drinking.
Oh,
And it's
absolutely.
very
A
accessible.
lot like that and Soul Calibur are both 2 really good drinking fighting games because you can just walk off the stage.
What do you mean?
True.
What do you mean I'm off the raft? Like, I love that stage in Soul Calibur 3. You can just willingly jump off and you're just like, what? Try to do your
I-
ultimate attack or something. It's like, oh, nope, never mind.
I
Goodbye.
do not know the last time I played Soul Calibur sober.
I think the last time I played Soul Calibur, I was like 13.
Granted, I don't know. Wait, I don't know the last time I played Smash sober
True.
because we were drinking at Mid-Spring Speed Fling, right?
We were.
We were. So yeah, it's been a while. I don't think I play fighting games sober. No, we played we were drinking. We played Rivals of Ether too.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's just all.
May is just a fiend for intoxicated fighting like games.
This certainly can't be as fast as the bone.
No, it's not. But because I spent a little bit of, or rather a lot of mana on
Okay.
on the little like warp trick, I just had to like set up a. See, I can't. I'm not even gonna potentially.
Oh, no.
Get okay, there we go.
There we
Like,
go.
Perfect.
You see what I mean?
What RNG in a speedrun? No, I've never experienced that personally.
I've never heard of it.
Never heard of that. I was making jokes on Twitter about bad RNG in speedruns and being like, I don't know, I've never really experienced that in my life. And the person knew I did Pokemon, but then didn't catch on, and they were like, "Oh, it's really bad. Like you wouldn't understand." I'm like, "No, I know."
Did you know that this move only has a 30% chance of hitting?
34% chance of hitting,
Oh.
actually, which means it happens every goddamn time.
Yeah.
Somebody made needed a clips. I can't talk about exactly what this is, but somebody needed clips, and of me, and I just sent a bunch of random ones, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, we're gonna use the one where you get sheer colded." That's the one, and I'm like, "Thanks, man, much appreciated." Pokemon's bad. I'd say as
Yeah.
I am involved in like 9 different Pokemon projects right now,
Crazy how
and
that works.
keep making more.
That's the speedrunning equivalent to like this game sucks in the fighting game, but hitting the rematch button anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like people are always
Yeah.
like, before what I was saying, people like would be like, oh, well, whatever game you start or like whatever game you run, you're gonna grow to hate it. Like that's not even true. You're gonna grow. You're gonna hate it in a way that you hate your sibling. You're gonna be like that little shit. If anybody else makes fun of them, I will fight them.
Yeah.
I think if you ever do have a relationship with your speed game where you do truly hate it, you should probably get a new game.
That's true.
A lot of them out there.
Don't do things that you don't like.
I am often saying this. Yeah.
Assuming you have the option to not do it.
Yes, I think that's an important caveat. I don't like working, and yet I continue to do it.
Curious.
Yeah, I know. I hate being part of society. Subscribe to the Patreon.
Huh.
When
Good segue? Question mark.
Yeah, when the Dear PB Patreon lets us both retire.
Yeah,
With our...
if we can get 10 people to subscribe to the Roblox tier,
it doesn't cost me money every month.
Nope.
Actually, we might be I think we're breaking even by this point.
Thanks to all of our dear Patreon, dear.
We had a word for this.
Dear
before.
Patreon buddies, dear PBs.
Dearest PBs.
Yeah.
Personal besties. That's what it was.
Personal besties.
Oh, that sounds way more inviting than PBians.
PBians.
Personal PBians is pretty good. Oh, I don't know now.
Our lovely peanut butters.
Oh, PBians is so funny. All right, we'll make a Patreon poll, and then they get to decide.
What would you rather be called?
I will certainly not remember to do this.
Okay, I'll write it down.
Is that our episode title, PBians?
Dear PB.
Dear PBians. Dearest PBians.
So our current possible episode titles are The Large Bone, Cerberus the Capybara, Rodent Appreciation Day.
Wait, what about Capyberry Appreciation Day?
Capyberry Appreciation Day, and Dearest PBians.
I was worried at the start because I was like, oh, we don't have a lot of questions right now. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna fill time. And then all of a sudden we got like 9 different bits all happening in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. This is great. This is good content.
Yeah, I gotta like stop getting anxious about doing this show and just expect the like content to just happen.
That's how it works.
It's true. That's why we invite such good guests, is because they just make the content happen.
We don't even need questions. That's a lot.
Yeah, we don't even need us. We should just have the guests on and shut up.
Wait.
Well,
that's called personal streaming, I think.
Yeah, that's just called following me on Twitch.
No, but we get the Patreon money. Don't you understand?
Yeah. So we have the podcast, and every other week we tweet out a link to a stream, and you pay us money for it.
I think that's just called being a landlord.
Wait, so you're saying having other people doing your work isn't morally correct? Holy crap. Anyways.
As the international plays in the background. I liked Dear PB before they got so political. In episode 2 or whatever.
It was always political.
Yeah, everything is.
Everything is political. It's true.
Yeah. Becoming the skeleton is a metaphor for how
how work eats you from
It's a metaphor
inside.
for art. It's a metaphor for art because you become like so Simon Belmont, I think this is Simon Belmont in this one, as a skeleton becomes so much more powerful, right? But only 1/8 of the time. And it's a metaphor for painting and fine art, because everyone knows that art very much appreciates in value when the artist dies, but not always. It's kind of a crapshoot. And thus, just like how Simon does more damage as a skeleton, art does more value as a skeleton.
You know, I didn't think you'd be able to close that, and you kind of did.
I know.
So I'll give it to you. It made no sense, but I'll give it to you.
It's a landing.
Yeah, I
It
had
is
the
a
idea.
landing.
I had the idea of like just like this because I saw the skeleton and I was like, this is a metaphor. You're dead. Oh no, this
Whoa.
kind of weirdly works. I guess like it's a stretch. Don't get me wrong, but there is like a level of not coherence, but coherence is definitely not the right word.
Thank you for listening to our video essay.
There's a line of thought. There's a thread.
There was a thought. I think there was a single thought there.
I'm always having thoughts.
Yeah. Brain blast.
The thinking fandom is dying. Retweet if you're a thought.
Whew.
Another good time to remind you to give us money for this show.
If you like what you saw, I don't know why.
I do like that if you throw a bone, you can fly. That's also like real life. This game's
Yes,
That is true. That is very accurate to real
It's
life.
really amazing.
Yeah,
It's because when you
you
throw
know-
it's the second law of momentum or third one.
which
The
one?
what?
Which the Newton's
Continue.
laws? Which one's equal and opposite reaction?
Uh,
The second one.
it's the third one.
It is the third one. Okay. Yeah, you throw the bone and that makes you fly backwards.
Damn, how fast are you throwing it then? Like multiple hundreds miles of
Oh,
hours?
Nathan can throw.
Yeah, he's got a good arm.
Apparently.
He plays baseball.
Whoa.
That'd be a fun mod. You just become like one of the like a SNES baseball player.
You change the bone to a baseball?
Yeah, exactly. You got a really big baseball.
Whoa.
I
It's a
always
softball.
appreciated it when games were like, all right, you know what? For this sprite, it's just going to be a big pixelated version of the sprite.
Yeah.
Like, we're not
Yeah.
going to do a higher res one. It's just going to be big.
Each pixel is going to be like 16 by 16 pixels.
Exactly. Like,
I think like GBA games kind of did that especially, didn't they?
yeah, it was like all the time. Honestly, it's I get it for like multiple reasons. One, art is hard, and doing more art is more hard. And two, space is
The
not.
GBA only has like 15 pixels anyways, so you can get away with it.
It has like it's like 200p. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Is it
Same
like,
thing.
It's like 300 by 200 or something like that?
It's
Or
240
by
by
180?
160,
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I know
not
how
a
to do
lot.
math. Not
So it's
that many pixels.
That many pixels.
I like the look of like most GBA games. Or I like the look of like the SNESy GBA games. Anytime any like GBA or SNES game tries to get like 3D is when I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Like this
Like
game
modes-
looks really good.
Yeah. Like Mode 7's cool. Because it has like a vibe to it, but like there are a lot of ugly games where they're just like, we're gonna do people like Donkey Kong Country, right? What if we did that?
Pre-rendered
But, like,
sprites.
Bad.
Oh yeah.
Like old like Konami and Capcom games that had such good sprite work.
Hmm.
So good that they used them again and again and again in some
Yep.
cases in modern Castlevania.
Exactly. Look, once you do it once, like reuse. We have to conserve sprites.
Mm.
The planet is dying.
Conserve your sprites.
Conserve sprites. Exactly.
Yeah, then you have like the Donkey Kong Country sprites that are like not good.
I don't like them. I feel like if you weren't there and you like, I didn't play it as a kid, and so like everyone's like, "Oh my god, it was so good," and I'm like, I don't think it looks good.
Yeah, same with
And
like
that's
the
a very-
Super Mario RPG sprites. They're like,
I
not
don't
great.
think those look good either. Like,
yeah,
as a very aesthetically driven person, like when I saw, like I played Paper Mario, and then people were like, "Oh, you gotta play Super Mario RPG." I'm like, but Paper Mario looks better.
yeah. I could not get into SMRPG.
I should try it at some point.
Probably, me too.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty fulfilling like first playthrough experience, SMRPG.
I like have access to a SNES now, so like there's a bunch of games that I really should play.
Yeah. I
'Cause
have
pretty much
access to a virtual SNES.
all the SNES games that I played were the GBA re-releases of ones, to the point where I did not realize that Super Mario World wasn't a GBA game until I was like 16.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. What?
Yeah, no. Friend of the show, Court, I believe, was the same way, and Court runs that game, or does Kaizo
Yeah.
at least. And yeah, like, because I didn't have a SNES. We didn't have any game. I had a Game Boy Color, and then we had a PlayStation 1. And so like I just didn't have a lot of like Nintendo, like access to anything Nintendo consoles until like I had a GameCube. And so but then I had Mario World on my Game Boy, and I was like, yo, this game slaps. Game Boy games are so good.
Yep.
Same with Link to the Past.
Really?
Like, I know now, but
So
that's
you
just
loaded
what...
up Link to the Past on SNES and like, where's Four Swords?
Okay, I do love Four Swords.
Four Swords is great.
I love Four Swords. I had like all 4 of the Link cables and then like I'd have friends over and then we'd play Four Swords. So
All
good.
right, but did you have the wireless adapters?
No.
Ooh.
The reason why I had 4 Link cables is because they had them all on sale at like Toys R Us or something for like $5. And so my mom was like, "Okay, yeah, we can get a whole set of them, I guess, because they're very cheap." Four Swords is great. I want to play Four Swords. I want to run Four Swords.
Yeah.
Do it.
That'd be sick with in person. I'm gonna look this up right now. Speed run. I think I still have my copy of it, and I have at least 1 Link cable, and I have 1 wireless one. This could happen.
I believe.
Four Swords Adventures. How long is it? I bet it's long.
It's like
2 hours.
Oh, adventures.
World record. That's not too bad, honestly.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Everyone plays in Japanese.
Japanese.
Look,
That's how you say it.
Shut up. Any number of players is acceptable. The number of players used throughout the run is allowed to vary. Oh.
You like tag in.
Interesting. Okay, looks like the top co-op run is a 2-hour 19. I should look into this more.
Let's do some tag team speedrunning.
I like this little sub segment called Dear Future PB.
Dear Future. Whoa. No, it's actually like a stealth version of our most common segment, Nay Google stuff. Or we look up stuff on Wikipedia or on SRC, which is like half the show.
Yeah, but it's relevant usually.
I was just asked about doing
unless it's Angry Birds, then it's not relevant.
Oh man,
dark times.
Remember when our content was good?
I respectfully decline to answer.
Poor M.
Moment of silence.
What? No, it's why we what?
Moment of silence.
Moment of silence for that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's better when we it's why we wanna record these when I'm on my meds. Then I can't hyper focus on Angry Birds for an hour.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this is not one of those episodes.
Good.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite like rendition of Vampire Killer. I think
it's so good.
It is very good.
All the music in this game is good. This game's good. I'm gonna play this game again.
If you want to learn all bosses.
Okay. Look,
let us teach you. See, this is what we were talking about when it comes to
how hard is it?
Not that if you're playing Vampire Killer, not hard at all.
Okay.
There are like 3 like tricks to like learn. You already know how to do the DSS glitch. It's super easy. And then just make sure to know your routing throughout the castle. It's only 9 bosses throughout the game too. So like you can practice those segments. Too.
And one of them is a Capyberry.
the various cap.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like it's not that expensive of a game.
You can run Capyberry %, where you just kill servers.
Yeah, and then we're also playing on the Advanced Collection. So like, if you want to play this on Switch, PC, like
Oh, Advanced Collection's
Ooh.
also a thing.
Yep,
So you use an
Collection's
actual
also a thing.
controller. I should just buy that and play this game again because it's good.
Do it.
The problem is
Please do it.
I'm once again piling up games that I want to run, and then I like start learning them, and I go, ugh, but it's so much work, and I could just do the game I already know.
What about a casual playthrough with speed strats?
Those are fun.
Those are fun. Because like I want to do Neon White, and I want to do PBR, and I want to do I'm probably not going to end up doing the 3DS Community Challenge just because like, Gen 7's long, but I might if I have some time.
3,000 years.
For real. XY is even the long one, and it's still long. Also, XY gives you depression to run.
I love RNG.
I love this guy's little dance.
Oh, the little don't hit me, I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah. It's like that is like peak like skeleton tactics is to be like, yeah.
It's true.
Oh
Also,
yeah, so yeah, if you don't mind me asking, what's so RNG heavy about X?
Oh God!
I personally want to learn about the like Pokemon games because I want to dive into
XY has maybe the worst like segment in all of Pokemon speedrunning. Like in terms of, like RNG, like just in terms of ways, like things you have to get through and just not have your run die. So first, at the beginning of the game, you have to get a 25% Bunnelby encounter. Which catching it's easy, it's guaranteed because we trade it for a Farfetch'd, and so like if you don't get it in a couple tries, you reset. Fortunately, it's only like 8 minutes in, so it's not too bad. But I mean, ideally, you get it first try if you're going for top times. Like in theory, you would reset after the first one, but nobody does because like.
I'm assuming it loses like what, like a minute per encounter. It's
like 30-40 seconds. Yeah,
okay.
It's not a minute. It's probably closer to 20 seconds actually. So then there's a whole section like you play through like 15 minutes of the game, and it's like pretty straightforward. There's not a lot that can go wrong. And then you get to Trevor and Tierno, which is a terrible fight that you can just lose. And that's after doing a bunch of cutscenes and stuff too, so that's fun.
Right.
And then right after Trevor and Tierno, you like do some movement, and then you go to like where you ride the Rhyhorn over to Glimmering Cave, and in the Rhyhorn you can get a random number of encounters, and then you get to Glimmering Cave where there's a random number of guaranteed encounters, and they're all really dangerous. So like if you get unlucky and can't run away, you probably just lose your run. And then there's 3 different fights you can all die from within the cave. And then after that, your reward for getting through all of that is you have to find a 20% Hawlucha and catch it. Do a 50% catch. Oh. Yeah.
Like I was with you on like, okay, yeah, you can just like reset after one encounter, but like, okay, so multiple instances of it I can see are pretty annoying. Especially after like all the we'll call it investment, like all the investment of performing those tricks anyway.
Exactly. And like nothing's like particularly, it's not like too bad. Like the movement's like, it's all the roller skate movement, which is like pretty difficult, but like not like the end of the world. But it's just late enough. It's like roughly like 54 minutes into the game when all this stuff happens, and it's just like, oh my god, please, I don't want to do this again. It's just such a rough early game grind. And then after you get the Hawlucha, you still have to beat Grant, which is not guaranteed because he can flinch you.
Oh,
it's so bad. Like, oh my! I was like, am I bad at speedrunning? Like, do I not? Am I bad at this series? When I was running XY, because I just couldn't get runs going, and then every time I would get a run, I would like choke because I'd be like, "Oh my god, I have a run!" It is a cool run though. It's a really cool route. It's just brutal.
Can I ask even more Pokemon related questions?
Of course.
As, again, as like a someone like on the outside, like kind of like looking in, I like really interested on like Pokemon speedruns. Like I was coming into speedrunning all about like precision platformers and like obviously like Mega Man and Castlevania and all that, but what kind of advice would you want to give like a seasoned like speedrunner like of another genre, you know, when they're trying to like dive their toes into like something like Pokemon? Like I've seen a lot of like the guides, a lot of like, you know, calculators and like a lot of that can be like pretty off-putting to someone who just wants to focus on like just what's in front of their eyes.
So we have a lot of good tools for not having to do all the math yourself. And like all of the all the notation is very like standardized and stuff, and there's good guides. So like check those out. You can just ask on any of the servers and people can point you towards them. And then it's just like it's such a different sort of vibe than doing, because I've done both like precision platforming runs and, you know, RNG heavy or like RNG heavy RPG runs. And it's just such a different energy, because it's more about being able, it tends to be, can you do easier execution a million times, so that when the RNG does work out, you did it. Because there isn't that much time to save. Like once you get good at the movement, like that's not where most of your time save is going to come from. And then also a lot of it is like making decisions quickly, and being good at like the execution is about like movement and menuing, which like the skill ceiling on menu is actually like really high.
I would assume so.
Yeah, people are like, oh, you're just tapping buttons. It's like, yeah, but you got to know exactly where everything is. You have to know exactly where you are. Like all the fights look the same, and so you can't rely as much on like visual. Like it's not like, oh well, we got past the Capyberry, so now
Right.
like it's just very different visual cues and stuff like that. Yeah, it's more of a marathon type of. Also, the games are long. That's the other thing. Is RPGs are long. Like, it's really an endurance run.
Yeah, thankfully, I told you I wanted to do Horas, and like it's probably like in like the very shorter realm of 3DS speed games.
It's the shortest 3DS one by a good margin, which is why I am always like, I'll just do this. It's only 2 hours and 50 or 3 hours ish. And then like, yeah, you say that's like people who like run like Mario, and they're like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, only 3 hours? I'm like, yeah, it's short.
See, those people have never picked up Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. that does not apply. I say people who run Mario, that does not apply to friend of the show, Tippy, who runs like the longest categories you've ever seen in your life.
Exclusively the 8-hour categories.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen Final Fantasy X as a run.
I'm aware of it.
It's really good. There's a lot of, you know, safety strats and like backups and like all that stuff, but it is like, if you're playing on PS2, I think it's like upwards of like 12, 13 hours, but thankfully now, recently in Summer Games Done Quick, Foxy had demonstrated like the load remover, which, you know, kind of cuts that down to about 4 hours, you know, like on an average pace. So like that's really, really great.
That's so much loading.
That is significant. It's like cutscenes and loading. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, cutscene skip as well makes sense.
Yeah.
I wish we had cutscene skip mods for the 3DS speedruns, because it'd be so much better for marathons if we could just skip that. Like Horas isn't too bad, but XY like starts to add up, and then like Gen 7 is a lot. Like Gen 7, you could shave at least 2 hours off just with like cutscenes and instant text.
If anyone watching or listening to this cast is like, you know what, I could probably do like a little hex for that, then like, you know, by all means.
I looked into it. I have no idea where to even begin for that.
Someone out there.
There just isn't really the tooling for anything after Gen 3. Just doesn't have like, or like at least the tooling for it is like very like hard to find. Because I mean, games got like just keep getting more and more complex, right?
Yeah.
They fit so much game in those carts. How do they do it? Was that time?
Oh yeah, that was time.
that works out because we should probably wrap this one up. Where can people find you?
Hey, well, I'm over at twitch.tv/TheBlacktastic and also everywhere else as TheBlacktastic. I do a lot of Castlevania, Mega Man, and again, soon to be Pokemon and a lot of other RPGs as well. I'm trying to dive into that realm.
I'm so stoked. You've no idea. Yeah, definitely go. We'll have all those links in the description, like always. Go throw out some follows. If you like our show and you're not already following us on Twitter, you can go to twitter.com/dearpbpod. You can also find us on YouTube and on your podcast app of choice. Link to the former in the description. And as mentioned multiple times during this show, as a bit, we have a Patreon where you can give us money and you get bonus episodes, and sometimes they're good. We need to record the one for this month.
Yeah.
Still, but we have a good bit of time for that. The last one we did was pretty silly, and I revealed my ignorance to the world. So actually, I feel like I did okay.
It was fine.
Yeah, I feel like I did okay. So yeah, check that out. Thanks again for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Of course, it was so great again to chop it up with like the mutuals.
Yeah.
Like, even though, and just as like a quick aside, like even though like I've known a lot of these folks like in passing, like various members of the community, these two, like something like just like very special happened at SGDQ where we were just like really just excited to bond over video games again. So
Yeah.
like I have had like such a great drive to just like talk with all the people, meet all the people, play all the games, and so yeah, thank you for coming to me for this opportunity to be on your show. Like this is really great, y'all. Thank you.
The post
Thank you.
The post GDQ, like I just want to hang out with people and play games again. It's been so much, but we got to hang out with people and play games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? If you're listening at home, I want you to go out and hang out with people, play games. Responsibly. Safely.
Yeah.
Sorry. Play games with people in a way that will not spread COVID.
Yeah.
Do that. I think we're done.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.